Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the GC Informer. I'm your host for today, Mark, also known as Koistorch. First up, Monolith Soft, the developers behind the Xenoblade Chronicles series and co-developers of a number of the more recent Zelda titles, are hiring for a new Zelda project. Monolith are well known for their incredibly well-detailed and expansive worlds. Chances are, much like for Breath of the Wild, Monolith's B team will be working on the world for the next Zelda title. It'll be hard to top Breath of the Wild in terms of scale, but hopefully now that they have more experience, they can create a world around the same size but more densely populated, as while I do love Breath of the Wild, at times the world felt empty between main areas. While Monolith did work on Breath of the Wild, they also helped out on Skyward Sword and A Link Between Worlds, so while it is likely that we may see another huge open world Zelda like Breath of the Wild at some point, Monolith being on board for the next one doesn't rule out the more traditional Zelda formula either. It really just means that development of the next title will be split between multiple teams so they can all work on different features independently. That being said, it doesn't hurt to speculate what could be on the horizon. For starters, it's confirmed that the next major Zelda project is underway. If it is built in a similar way to Breath of the Wild, I would actually really like to see a direct prequel or sequel to that title, as it would be cool to see the world before it fell to ruin. It'd also be really cool seeing what happens next, as after the credits rolled and you gained all the memories, it seemed like it could keep going. It could be something completely different once again, flipping the formula on its head even further. I'd be pretty cool with anything, but if we are going down a similar route as Breath of the Wild, I'd like to see a little refinement in terms of mechanics. The durability system, for example, needs some fine-tuning, as I like the concept, but in practice it was a little messy. At any rate, it looks like the next couple years for the Switch will be huge, with rumours of 2 new models coming out and Pokemon Sword and Shield on the way later this year. Warcraft 1 and 2 was sneakily released on GOG. Much like Diablo's release a few weeks back, Blizzard and GOG are at it once again, releasing even more classics. Much like the Diablo release, you can play it with higher resolution but LAN-only play, and another version with the original graphics and uses Battle.net for its multiplayer. Unlike the Diablo port, the Warcraft's port includes released expansions, so it's a single purchase of each or a bundle of both, and that's all there is to it. I remember playing a lot of Warcraft 2 when I was younger. It was such an amazing game and my first experience with real-time strategy game. Unfortunately, this port pretty much dashes any hope of a remake-remaster treatment for the titles, like Blizzard are doing already with Warcraft 3 Reforged. Warcraft 1 was a product of its time and I think it could use a remake, but that doesn't seem likely anytime soon. I'll just try to be happy that my PC will be able to play all 3 games without issue, because getting the older games to run on a newer OS is a pain. Warcraft 1 and 2 are available now on GOG, with Warcraft 3 Reforged on the way sometime later this year. Next up, we have a bunch of Borderlands news. To kick things off, Gearbox have finally officially revealed Borderlands 3. Borderlands 2 was released in 2012 and the pre-sequel was released in 2014. 3 has been a long time coming and it's great that the reveal trailer shows gameplay. Chances are it'll be released this year too, with more information on the game promised next week. The initial trailer shows a good variety of locations, most likely different planets, as well as some of the new characters we'll be playing this time around. Once again, they fit into a few basic archetypes, but they seem to be different enough from the previous games. Some of the previous games' casts will be present in this entry too, with a number of familiar faces already shown, including a character that looks like Reese from Tales from the Borderlands. That ended on a cliffhanger and was by far my favourite Borderlands game, so hopefully we'll get some closure on his narrative. Visually, the game series doesn't seem to have changed all that much, but it's hard to tell when a game has stylized graphics like this. The trailer had all of the colour and guns that you'd expect from the franchise, plus new guns with legs and what appeared to be mech suits spawning from guns, unless that's actually a character ability. Otherwise, it just didn't carry the same personality that was synonymous with the franchise. Maybe that's just because of song choice or that there was no dialogue in the trailer, but that's the feeling I got. We'll see more soon enough, but I'm sure it'll at least be on par with its predecessors. That wasn't the only Borderlands announcement either, as Gearbox confirmed the Borderlands Handsome Collection would be getting an Ultra HD pack update that'll increase the visual fidelity of the collection. Textures will be improved and it'll allow for 4K support, so it's a nice way to update the games in time for the Borderlands 3 hype train. Not only that, but Borderlands 2 VR will be adding all the DLC from Borderlands 2 as a free update, which includes Captain Scarlet and her Pirate's Booty, Mr. Torg's Campaign of Carnage, Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt, and Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep. And lastly, they also announced Borderlands Game of the Year edition for current gen consoles. This is more than just a straight port of the original 2, with many quality of life changes introduced in Borderlands 2 being added to this release. This includes the minimap and equipment locking features. If you already own the original Borderlands on PC, you can upgrade to the new and improved version for free, much like Skyrim did on Steam. This release will include all the previously released DLC as well, and promise to improve multiple boss battles in the game, including the final boss of the main campaign, which they promised will be more engaging, challenging, and rewarding. Borderlands Game of the Year Edition will release next week on April 3rd. Lastly today, Sony's former CEO Kaz Hirai will officially retire from Sony in June of this year. Last year, Kaz Hirai stepped down from his position as CEO and took on the role of director and chairman. He helped Sony in its time of need years ago and was directly involved in the PlayStation 3's launch. He has worked for Sony for 35 years, and even though he is leaving, he said he will continue to advise the company if they need it. His successor, Kenichiro Yoshida, took on the role of CEO last year, and Kaz Hirai has said that he believes everyone at Sony is fully aligned under Yoshida-san's strong leadership, and are ready to build an even brighter future for Sony. With rumours of a PS5 on the horizon and Sony's new content delivery system in the PlayStation State of Play, it looks like they'll need a strong leader to carry them through to the future. And that's all the time we have for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and please let us know what you thought of today's topics in the comments below. Until next time, bye!